No, it's disturbing. Can you go out, please?
So Eurasian Conference on Digitalization, Socialization and Educational Development.
Do not share from your end.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. Eurasian Conference on Digitalization, Socialization and Educational Development. Thank you all for joining in. Let's go to the valedictory session without taking much of your time. Sir, can we go to the slide of the delegates, please? Research Cultural Society is a government-registered scientific research organization. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. So we have an honor to have with us Dr. Bhargavi D. Himange. Ma'am is Associate Professor and Head of Department Media Science, Center for Management Studies, Jain, deemed to be University, Bangalore, India. Dr. Bhargavi is currently working as an Associate Professor and Head of the Department Media Studies at Center for Management Studies, Jain, deemed to be University, having over 14 years of experience in teaching and research. She is also the chair for Radioactive, the community radio initiative done by the Jain University. She has been working with NGOs and with the government of Karnataka. One of her noteworthy engagement is being the media coordinator to Bengaluru San Francisco Sister City Initiative, where she closely worked with Mayor of San Francisco, angel investors, and government of Karnataka. She has also served as syndicate member to the University of Mangalore. She has been inspired by Gandhi and her father-in-law, who has been a freedom fighter. She believes in the soft power of social media to make a difference, at the same time being concerned about the challenges they bring in. She is a founder member of a society for visually challenged children in Mysore and has been instrumental in setting up Scribe Bank for them. She is passionate towards gender equality, environment and climate change, and grassroots media, particularly community radio. She has completely funded projects on social media and adolescents, community radio, and has been working on a tribal education project and jubilant home projects. She believes that journalism education can be successfully imparted only when the students are exposed to social realities. The focus needs to be on developing critical thinking and learning to make ethical judgments. She has been a keynote speaker, presented papers in many national and international conferences, and has published 3 books. We are honored to have you over here with us, ma'am. Please take
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. I mean, it was an elaborate introduction, but you pronounced my name wrongly. I'm Dr. Bhargavi Himmige. Okay. Anyways, first and foremost, I would like to congratulate Research Culture Society, Eurasian University, Scientific Research Association for this international conference. I would rather say timely conference, very much needed, to sensitize on digitization, socialization, and education development. This pandemic has actually opened a pandora of opportunities, I can say, because, we all know that these educational technology platforms, especially in our universities, private universities, we try to adapt to it very quickly, customized, and then even we designed our assessment schemes accordingly and moved forward with the changing times. So now, last 2 days, I have been a participant of this conference from the day one, like yesterday and today. A lot of deliberations and insights were thrown upon the challenges, opportunities, strengths, and weaknesses of digitization, socialization, and education development. I'm sure here all of us will agree to the facts that technology enabled forms of communication and collaboration undreamt to this extent in the past have actually closed or broken the walls of our classrooms, and our classrooms are no longer stands as barriers to this technology enabled new way of education. See, today we have this here only in our lobby, this room, technologically created lobby or room of Zoom. We have people, professors from Russia, presenters from Russia. I am here sitting from Karnataka, and many of you all are sitting in many other states and different parts of the world. We are sitting here and we are, speaking with each other through this Zoom platform. So, I mean, this was something which this was not even thought of or experimented before the pandemic. So I'm sure, one of the best outcomes of pandemic is through technology's interface or intervention, bringing the people together. As one of the presenters I was listening, she quoted Marshall McLuhan, the Canadian communication scholar, who kind of was criticized in the 1960s for his forward thought on talking about the global village, where he said, there will be a day when the technology will be the extension of a human body, in the sense like it can be like what central nervous system is to the body, technology can be the same to the humans. This is what he predicted, and he was in the 1960s, but he was criticized for the same, but today having one of the scholars actually took his name in the presentation, and I was very happy. He has authored, when believed in the power of media, and he believed in the strength of the technology, and in spite of being critiqued for the same, he kind of continued with that. The presenter's thoughts on him made me recall. But anyway, coming back to what I want to say, the internet penetration is estimated to reach over 55% by the 55% of our Indian population by the end of 2025, according to the government estimates. So, our higher education policy, as we all know, is designed, keeping this in mind. And, we all have been asked to implement the latest NEP, National Education Policy, by Government of India. Why I'm talking about here is we have scholars from other countries, so that they will also get a peek into the changing scenario of our Indian education, where, government, Ministry of Education, how it is intervening and promoting the digitization, use of technology, use of asynchronous and synchronous mode of learning in higher education. So as I told you, in the days to come, digital education will further witness significant changes in the way universities and colleges provide or deliver the education. This accelerated shift towards adoption of digitalization means both access to education and also the delivery part and also the assessment. See, I'm talking about three things here. See, because of pandemic, we all adopted to different new educational platforms, even though we did not hear of something like Zoom. Now Zoom is part of everyday life, family meetings, marriages happen over Zoom, as we all know. So it has got integrated in our life so deeply and so quickly. I was told that, Zoom share has been subscribed 100 million times. I mean, this is what I'm told. I don't know the exact figure, but why I'm telling this figure is now, this is the importance this technological platform has suddenly found itself in, this is the limelight it has found itself in. Similarly, the educational driven organizations which kind of used to deliver mediated educations like Coursera, LinkedIn, Udemy, suddenly have gained importance. 3 years ago, people did not know what Coursera was. People did not know what learning was through LinkedIn. But today, we at our university itself, we have integrated. We have got into MOU. Earlier, we had an MOU with Coursera. Now we have an MOU with LinkedIn Learning. And if our subject or if our program has some related delivery in those platforms, we kind of integrate it in our course delivery and ask our students to spend 8 hours, 10 hours listening to it and include it in our assessment. This is how we have recustomized and brought in blended learning in our course delivery. So our teaching, learning, evaluation program is totally depending on these technological platforms. So hence, talking on this digitization, socialization, integration, and hence mapping the education development, which is the conference theme, according to me, is very important, relevant, timely, and we all need to adapt to it. People may be telling, the energy in the classrooms, direct education, physical education is totally different. There the interaction is much deeper. All that is fine. But, we should also look into the opportunities Zoom or Microsoft platforms or Google platforms have created in the learning. I'm sure, it is going to take the higher education to the next level. Also, I would like to tell you that, this may also help in reducing the digital divide or the quality education, which was not earlier accessed to the students of tier 2, tier 3 and the rural areas. For example, I think understanding this, the importance, our national education policy of known by short known as NEP has emphasized on digitization. Besides using technology in education, it has focused on using these educational platforms for furthering education. In fact, the focus for them is the earlier adoption to NEP in rural areas. So, a student sitting in a village has access to the recorded MOOCs or recorded learning courses in Coursera education. Now the government has also kind of uploading or developing its own MOOCs, and earlier they never had the access to quality education. So, many shortcomings which we experienced in classroom teaching, like student teacher ratio, the size of the classroom, all these kind of challenges or barriers, I think, is broken because of the intervention of technology, digitization in education. And, one more significant thing, and one more significant thing, or one more very ambitious step or by the government, which I have to say, is the allocation of 93,000 crores rupees in the budget 2021 by the Ministry of Education to increase or to increase the focus to digitizing the higher education in rural India. So earlier, the budget was only 20% of what I mentioned. So this high amount of budget in allocation in the government of India for Department of Education itself shows the importance given to learning, digitization by the government, and how it is taken upon itself to promote technology in higher education. So I'm sure, we all are going to reap the benefits of this, mostly our students in marginalized areas, remote areas. But one thing is the challenges of, connectivity needs to be seen. I think this budget will also look into those kind of challenges which these students and teachers place with respect to accessing these e-learning portals. So, but definitely, I have to say that, digital divide in schools is significantly higher in rural areas, and the impetus by the government of India needs to be, given to improvisation of, creating the infrastructure, which is actually going to reduce this. Then I think, India will experience a new era in higher education, because it will have a student sitting in a remote village, as I told you, will have access to a quality professor teaching in IIM or any other private universities. So any scholar in higher education who has worked in the relevant area, his thoughts, his notes can be directly, mapped or synced in with the student who is sitting remotely in some corner of the world. I mean, this is what it is going to do. I mean, I think the only thing we need to change is our mindset, because, I still find, we did a survey in our own university where, teachers were still kind of for the traditional way of teaching and learning, and they all wanted everything. In fact, they were all talking about the digital stress, which was again discussed by many of y'all here in this conference. But I think in spite of all that, we should kind of weigh what is more beneficial and what is going to help in the larger interest of the society, and go in line with these trends. With this, I would like to conclude my thoughts. And as I told you, it's time for us to learn, adopt, and customize ourselves to these sweeping changes which is happening in the technology and education ecosphere. And I think more such deliberations, conferences, and workshops are required to customize it. Only when we start speaking this language, when we are trying to change our mindset, then I think all of us will be benefited to these platforms or this quality education. Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity. And I wanted to talk more and bring about more research evidences, but due to the paucity of time, I would like to end, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am, for the insight. Much appreciate your sharing of ideas. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Rekha Pathak, ma'am. She is the principal of Dr. D.Y. Patil College of Education, Pune, India. Dr. Rekha Pathak is currently working as the principal at Dr. D.Y. Patil College of Education, Pimpri, Pune. She is having 28 years of experience in teaching and research. She is a member of academic committees of SPPU and IGNOU. She is recognized as MPhil and PhD guide at the Savitribai Phule, Pune University, and presently 6 students are pursuing PhD degree under her guidance. She has completed 2 research projects funded by BOD Savitribai Phule, Pune University. Titles of the project: develop a program for the subject science using inquiry training model of teaching and a study of factors of leadership and management for quality improvement in higher education institutes in the district of Pune. She is invited as a resource person in many state, national, and international seminars and conferences. She has participated and presented more than 25 research papers, articles in national, international, peer-reviewed journals, conference proceedings. She has written a handbook titled Information Processing Models of Teaching. Also, she has co-authored 8 books on various subjects like assessment and evaluation for learning, introduction to research methods, pre and in-service teacher education, etc. She is the editor-in-chief of the Educational Resurgence Journal, in-house online e-journal of Dr. D.Y. Patil College of Education. She is passionate towards education research, gender equality, community work, and environment. For her contribution towards education, she has received many awards. Few of them are Bharat Ratna Mother Teresa Puraskar, Adarsh Vidya Saraswati Puraskar, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Lifetime Achievement National Award. Recently, she has been awarded as the Best Principal of the Year by DHS Foundation, Delhi. We are honored to have you with us, ma'am. Can you please take over?
Yes, definitely. Good evening to one and all. Welcome to all the organizers, the participants, and the patient listeners who are really available to us throughout the day today. The Eurasian Conference on Digitalization, Socialization, and Education Development, organized by Research Culture and 2 other very important organizations. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate the organizers, the heads, the directors of this very apt and timely conference, which is taken on such a relevant and important topic as this. This is the need of the hour. This is where we are heading to. So really spending time from yesterday was nothing but a learning experience, not only for all the participants, but also for all the teacher educators, the experts who are present as researchers and session chair, etc. So it was a learning experience. We got to listen to so many good research papers and take in so much from there. Building back better in a post-COVID-19 world, the onset of this pandemic has given wings to digital transformation by triggering significant changes through combinations of information, computing, communication, and connectivity technologies. And it is taking place in all the spheres of our life and affecting all aspects of our life. Globalization is a term that is used in many ways, but the principle underlying it is the progressive integration of digitalization, socialization, journalism and advertising, educational system. And the same has been the idea of having this conference on digitalization, socialization, and educational development. During this conference, as a sessions chairperson, I came across many interesting and prominent topics like the role of social media, emotional intelligence, artificial intelligence, some interesting researches in the field of pharmacy, education and technology, and so on and so forth. One thing which comes out strongly is that the pandemic has given rise to the wave of digitalization, which has made a deep and permanent impact on mankind. The scenario of the education system, right from the primary to the secondary, higher secondary, and higher education, is much changed now. There are vast differences, major differences, which we see in the pre-COVID area and the post-COVID era. So there has been a paradigm shift, and it is so important, as we have heard so many speakers speaking on the same aspect from yesterday, from this different perspectives, different ideologies, and it is really very important for us to also shift in that area. So it is a very good thing this drive has started, and making every one of us to focus and become more and more aware of how digitalization and socialization is very much important to bring about the necessary changes in this education system, especially higher education. As already mentioned by one of the experts now, that in India, we are already going to undergo a major change in our education system with the incoming of the new education policy 20. And in that, we have seen that much stress has already been laid, keeping all these aspects in mind. With the internet penetration rate estimated to reach above 55% by the end of 2025 in India, digitalization of education remains one of the most priorities of our government. The key priorities for higher educational institutions are to make the students industry ready by assessing their competencies and aligning them to what is needed by the industry. This can be achieved by bringing research and innovation into the core of our education system and thus making it affordable for everyone across the globe. It is therefore very necessary now to say goodbye to the traditional and the rote learning methods. It is driven by new technologies, new economic relationships, and the national and international policies of a wide range of reforms, which are needed at the international level as well. which must be devised for the next phase of globalization led by digital flows to ensure open and fair access. A global crisis such as COVID-19 makes it mandatory for all the leaders to think with a positive difference. This crisis has triggered not only economic, technological, and psychological responses that must meet economic difficulties, communication problems, the digital divide, and the sense of distress among the citizens. For this reason, the sense of belonging to a global, supportive, and interconnected community can help us to overcome the difficulties of such a profound crisis as this. Digital transformation and digital globalization could become an opportunity to improve the economic, human, and psychological condition of the citizens around the world. Because of the lack of time, I must now conclude. But before concluding, I will definitely want to thank the organizers once again for organizing such a timely international conference and to provide the opportunity for budding researchers, new thoughts, to share their new thoughts, new ideas, and their researches, and provide such a good platform as this. So once again, thank you, and looking forward for many such more interactions. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am, for the amazing insight and valuable words. We appreciate your inputs. Next, we have an opportunity to have with us. Sir, can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, coming to the best presentation, the most awaited moment is here. All right, we'll take it from here. We are also honored to have with us Professor Yanini Bisan. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing. Sir, are we coming to the certificate presentation or are we taking the guest?
Yes, please go ahead with this.
The paper presentation, sir. So awaited here. The most awaited moment for best papers is here. The certificate of best presentation is awarded to Bharat Kumar. Do we have Bharat Kumar with us? The certificate is awarded for adolescents' emotional intelligence, a comparison of school and gender differences. I think sir is not with us. Can we go to the next one, sir? The next awardee is Dipinder Kaur for the paper article, Can we really improve school education by ignoring teacher recruitment? Dipinder Kaur, please accept our virtual certificate. Ma'am, are you available with us right now? All right, sir, I'll do that. The next certificate is presented to Dr. Rishita Ghosh for the paper Educational Technology, the Past, the Present, and the Future. And the last certificate goes to Professor Nadia Ratkovic for the paper All the Education of the Future. Heartiest congratulations to all the winners. An ignited mind is the most powerful weapon on the earth, above the earth, and under the earth. and this is got through education. Education is the most profitable investment for the near future. On behalf of Department of Journalism and Advertisement, Ukraine, Europe, Research Culture Society, and Scientific Research Association, I would like to express my gratitude to all esteemed delegates of the conference for their presence and contribution to make this conference a great success. Thank you for sparing your valuable time with us. All the participants, an announcement for all of you. Please note that you have 15 more days time till 25th October 2021 for any modification, update, and submission of final article paper for publication. Publication process will start after all selected articles, papers converted as per standard publication format. Participants, presenters will receive e-certificate till 15th October 2021. Hard copy of certificate and proceedings book after 5th November 2021. Online publication tentative date is 5th November 2021. We are grateful for your presence with given time and efforts. Our well wishes for the future collaborations and participations. Thank you all.